I've heard it said both ways, Heidi, so don't correct me, okay?
I don't even know how you say it.
Yeah. So, of course, the PIC is talking about AO Technology Solutions. Tell us exactly what was said there.
So this company has been in question, for a long time, because the PIC is being investigated through this commission of inquiry about dodgy investments, cases of impropriety. Today we saw the head of internal audit, which is a very crucial part within the PIC to make sure that investments are done accordingly. We heard the head of internal audit basically saying that this specific investment into AO Technology Solutions was not done properly. There was no due diligence. It was done through the office of then CEO Dan Machile, and it didn't go through internal and external audits. And this company is in question because it is not usually a company that the PIC would invest in. The PIC invested 4.3 billion rand into this company. Many were questioning about it being overvalued. They paid 43 rand per share 2 years later, and that share is selling for just under 3 rand. And this is what the commission basically asked, said, why did you guys invest in that? Have you seen good returns on this investment? And the head of internal audit basically saying that it didn't come through me. I have not seen this. It was signed off by 3 executives within the PIC, one specifically the former CEO, Dan Machile. And, you have a situation now where government pension funds could possibly be at risk because the PIC decided to invest in this company and with no proper explanation or validation as to why it wanted to do that.
Yeah. These inquiries can sometimes be boring or seem boring to people, but then you get, really gems like this one. Dan Machile being accused of using money on an alleged romance. Tell us more.
It actually takes me back to the SARS Commission, because there was also that allegation of, an executive or a head within an institution using money or, using their power to get their lover in. And this is what we heard from the head of internal audit, that there was a situation where a deal happened where the then CEO Dan Machile was approached by apparently 2 ladies who have a company and they wanted a loan. Apparently at first it was between 21 to 23 million rand, and when the investigation was done by the internal audit departments, they then realized that it was actually an amount that was paid to this company, allegedly one lady being Dan Machile's lover, and that amount was 300,000 rand, and it was paid in 2 payments, 150,000 each payment, and the report clearly showed that this loan was given. The question was asked, was it really Dan Machile's lover? And yeah. He couldn't really answer that, but it was to 2 women, and it was to this company that wanted a loan, and the expectation was that it was not going to be paid back. And if you look at 300,000 compared to the 2 trillion that, the PIC deals with, you would say it's not that much, but where does that money come from? Who's responsible for that money, and why was a loan given out to a company when there's no return on investments?
No questions on whether it was allegedly paid in kind. Yeah? So let's talk about VBS, because I see that popped up today. That's something that we know all too well about in South Africa, the looting there. What's the PIC saying in that regard in this inquiry? So
I was hoping that they would actually get into that matter, because, this Commission of Inquiry needs to establish why the PIC decided to invest in companies like Steinhoff, VBS Mutual Bank, Eskom, and as well as AO Technology, which we heard today how it happened and what went down. But they couldn't get into the nitty-gritties of the investment into VBS. And one of the reasons being is because the PIC is doing its own internal investigation into the investment of AO Technology Solutions as well as VBS Mutual Bank. But later on during the Commission, when we hear more public hearings, they will have to bring it up, because it is a very serious issue given the fact that VBS has collapsed and the PIC invested so much into that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Haile Jokos is, of course, following the PIC Commission of Inquiry.